Ladies and gentlemen, Barry C here with another cryptocurrency video, and XRP ready to skyrocket, ready to go crazy. The market is turning around slowly but surely, and the next couple of months are going to be gigantic. We are finally going to see the alt season we've all been waiting for. Now, it's interesting, ladies and gents, because we saw 2024 play out exactly the way 2020 did, and then 2025 has played out entirely differently. If anything, it's lining itself up to be very similar, if not identical, to what we saw in 2017 heading into 2018. You see, ladies and gents, back in 2017, XRP was 0.006 cents a coin, less than 1 cent. And almost a year later, in 2018, it went over $3 a coin. It was over 100x in less than a year. And it was such a parabolic run that XRP flipped both Ethereum and Bitcoin to take the #1 spot for a very short period of time. And if the market repeats itself right now, we're in for a very exciting couple of months, especially with XRP. And what's also really fascinating, ladies and gents, is that XRP has led the way. In November 2024, it was the altcoin that showed the most promise. It had the biggest run out of the other cryptos. It went from 50 cents to over $2, over $2.50, $2.60, $2.70 in less than a month. The only crypto that came close was HBAR. And then we saw the exact same thing almost a month ago. XRP turned the tide. When the market was dipping and trading sideways, XRP came along and started rallying again. And what's interesting to me and fascinating to me is that people still push these negative narratives. It's the same thing in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, to where we are right now. There's always a reason not to buy XRP. And the people who have pushed these negative narratives have been wrong every step of the way. The same people in 2017 who were saying don't touch XRP when it was 1 cent or below 1 cent because it was a banker's coin, and why would we want a crypto that was going to see mass adoption and utilization by banks and financial institutions around the world? Why would we want that? Less than a year later, it does over 100x, goes over $3. It could have been life-changing money. And people absolutely fumbled the XRP bag. And the exact same thing happened heading into November of 2024. There were so many people saying XRP was dead, XRP wasn't going anywhere, XRP wouldn't reach back above $1 ever again. And then in November 2024, it just, once again, all these people proven wrong. It goes back above $1, back above $2, back above $2.50, $2.60, $2.70. Once again, that type of price movement could be absolutely life-changing. And people, once again, watch from the sidelines. The majority of the sentiment around XRP back then in November 2024 wasn't necessarily just about the explosive price action of XRP. The majority of the sentiment was either I wish I'd bought more XRP, or in some instances, people saying I wish I'd bought XRP in the first place. And a lot of people ended up compromising a lot of their crypto holdings because they tried to roll one crypto into XRP to chase that profit. And not only are they creating this taxable event for themselves, but then they're also paying a lot more for the XRP than what they could have picked up early 2024. And the exact same thing will happen again. Once the market completely turns around, once we see an alt season, once we see XRP go even more parabolic than it has recently, and we start seeing prices like $4, $5, $10, maybe even higher. And when people see prices like that, the main sentiment that people will feel will be, I wish I'd bought more XRP. I wish I'd done more. I wish I had a plan. And like I've said in many of my past videos, whether you've listened to me for quite some time, or even if you're new to the channel, one of the things I talk about a lot is having a plan. As somebody who's been in crypto since 2016, I'm coming up to the 10-year mark. And it's really, really important to have that short-term, mid-term, long-term plan. You know, short-term for me is over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, maybe 6 to 12 months at the most. Midterm is about 2 to 4 years, and long-term is 5 to 10 years. And I know what you're thinking. There's going to be some people saying, well, Barry C, like, I can't wait 10 years. I want to get rich right now. And look, the reality is that, look, I'm almost 10 years in, and you make mistakes, you have ups and downs. It's not really about getting rich quick. It's about having a plan, because you are taking a calculated risk getting into a new asset class. But the whole reason we get into this asset class is because of the alt season, because we have heard the rumors, or in some instances like myself, if you've been in crypto since 2016, 2017, you were there for the very first alt season, where we saw prices far exceed all expectations. We saw cryptos go from being worth a couple of $100s to tens of thousands, even until now hundreds of thousands. We've seen cryptos go from $10 to thousands of dollars, from $1 to hundreds, from less than 1 cent to over $3. We've seen cryptos time and time again far exceed all expectations. So when you take XRP and you say, look, I've got a plan, short-term, mid-term, long-term, and I'm looking at $4 or $10 or $50 or $100 or $1,000, when people say, well, there's no way XRP could ever reach $1,000, or there's no way XRP could do this or do that, it's very easy to go back and look at the historic data, the charts, the blueprints of how cryptos have time and time again far exceeded all expectations. Now, if you were to believe these narratives, you'd be costing yourself everything. You would be going against the very reason you got into crypto in the first place. Because I would argue that the majority of people got into crypto because they wanted to make some life-changing money, to make some different choices, and to take a chance to see maximum rewards. And so if you don't have a plan, and if you're not open to having a conservative plan or a crazy plan, then it's going to be extremely difficult to succeed in cryptocurrencies, especially with XRP. Because as I stated earlier, there's always a reason not to buy XRP. There's always a negative narrative. And the reason why I highlight these negative narratives is because this is what you're going to hear 3 out of the 4 years when you're in a 4-year cycle. And we saw this happen leading up into November 2024. People were pushing the whole idea of XRP not going anywhere. XRP is dead. It'll never go back above $1 ever again. And then we get to November 2024. And sure enough, XRP outperforms all the negativity. And the exact same thing is going to happen again over the next couple of months, over the next couple of years. We are going to see XRP exceeding all expectations when it comes to prices. So if you don't have a plan that involves conservative prices or crazy prices, then you're not going to be prepared, and you're not going to be in the best position possible to actually make some really great profits. And this is not financial advice, ladies and gents. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not saying if you do this or you make a plan, you're absolutely going to see results. But what we have to do is put ourselves in that best position possible, because we are taking calculated risks. We are getting into a new asset class. We are getting into a highly volatile asset class. And we're also taking a chance on a crypto, XRP, that will not only see amazing results in an alt season, but also the potential of a future utility run. So we are looking at conservative prices. We are looking at crazy prices. But the main thing that I'm doing, and the main thing I'm putting out in this video today, is ignoring the negativity, having both that conservative and crazy plan when it comes to price points, so that you have been prepared every step of the way, so you have multiple opportunities to take multiple amounts of profit. Where you don't want to be is where the majority of people are. Every time XRP starts skyrocketing, they're in a position where they're saying, well, I wish I'd done things differently. I wish I'd bought more. Or in some instances, some people are saying, I wish I'd actually bought XRP in the first place. And where you don't want to be is FOMOing in after the fact. Because we saw that happen in 2018 when people were more than happy to pay $3 per XRP instead of less than 1 cent a year earlier. The exact same thing happened in 2021. After XRP started taking off, people were happy to pay over $1 for 1 XRP, as opposed to around 15 to 19 cents a year earlier. And the exact same thing happened in November 2024 when XRP started skyrocketing. People were trading 1 crypto for XRP. They were chasing those green candles. And once again, people were more than happy to pay $2, $2.50, $2.70 for one XRP instead of 50 cents, which they could have been paying 4 or 5 months earlier than November 2024. And these are the same mistakes I see over and over again. I saw it in 2017 into 2018. I saw it 2020 into 2021. And we're absolutely going to see it as it rounds out 2025. So where does it leave us? The people who are actually taking a chance on XRP. Well, where we are is that we have to have the fortitude and the conviction to continue to accumulate. And if you've bought the dip and you have no more resources, not financial advice, of course, but then, for me personally, I hold. I hold because I know what I hold when it comes to XRP. I know I hold the number one crypto in finance. I know I hold the only crypto that has been trialed on a global scale when it comes to banks and financial institutions. I know I hold the crypto that has the greatest possibility of an alt season rally as well as a separate utility run. I know I hold the crypto that could potentially skyrocket from $3 to $4 to $50 to $100 to $1,000 a lot sooner than people anticipate. Now, could that happen in the next 6 to 12 months? Could it be the next 2 years, the next 5 years? I'm open to all possibilities. Now, of course, I would love XRP to rally to $1,000 tomorrow. I'm not saying that it will, but of course I want that. Everyone wants that. But the reality is, I go back to my plan. I've got my short-term goals, my mid-term goals, and my long-term goals. And if those happen sooner than anticipated, fantastic. If they take a little bit longer, no problem. I have factored in every step of the way, every contingency, every possibility, so that I am in that best position possible to make the most out of take profit opportunities when it comes to XRP. And ladies and gents, as previously stated, none of this is financial advice. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're curious about the other cryptos I hold outside of XRP, consider becoming a Patreon. Click the link in the description below, head across to my Patreon page, and consider becoming a Barry C VIP. There you'll have access to all the cryptos I hold, as well as my buy, sell, and take profit signals in real time.